Hello, hello, I am Jim Bob and welcome to another live stream of Train Sim World. We're going to do some Class 43 passenger services tonight. We'll start off with one of the scenarios, keep things nice and simple, I think. So let's start off with one that I actually did myself just a couple of days ago, the Christmas closures. I'm a big fan of this particular one. It's a nice, simple, straightforward one. And I do like this one here, so... Let's see, we've got a few people popping into the chat already. We've got Mady, Ian, Asnabas, I think that's how it's pronounced, I might be wrong. Mike, Nicholson Farm, Jordan, and David. Good to see you guys. Thanks for popping in. And there's Martin. I knew Martin would pop in for some of this. And indie games as well. How are you guys? Good to see you all again. Really looking forward to this coming out in just over a week. Really looking forward to that pack. I will be doing some live streaming on the Somerset Rail pack as soon as it comes out. And Oscar, all the way from New Zealand. Let's hope for a smooth day on the rails, says David. Yes, a smooth journey would be good.
With London Paddington closed due to engineering works, you've been called on to assist with the trains being turned back at Ealing Broadway.
So, to get us started, we have a closure going on. One of the stations is closed. So we are running some services to help deal with those closures. We're going to be taking a train on a redirected route. So let's just make our way over the platforms using the footbridge. And we want platform 3. And now we're just going to wait for the train to turn up. This was supposed to be our break, apparently, but we've been pulled off break to deal with this train here. See, you sent a request for a City Skylines naming. Please, can you put any requests in the City Skylines video comments, because I will lose them in this before I get the chance to write them down. And that way I can go and add them into the list. So here we are with the Class 43, the HST, one of my all-time favourites.
With your local knowledge, the manoeuvres at Ealing Broadway should go smoothly. When you're ready, take control of the train.
I love that, with my local knowledge. My local knowledge is that I'm from the UK. That's it. I've never been to Ealing Broadway, so my local knowledge is absolutely non-existent. Alright, so let's get the doors open. Martin, your request has actually already been done. You'll see in the next video, I think it is. Or maybe the one after that. Let's just have a quick look around outside. And we've got people getting on and off. There's me. Doors are open. Lots of people on the train. There's someone thinking about getting on. Go on. Get on the train. What's the worst that can happen? Well, actually, no, what's the worst that can happen? Last time I drove one of these 43s, I crashed it. So, yeah, that is probably the worst that could happen. Okay, we need to close the doors. Hit the buzzer. Set the reverser to forward. There we go. Brakes to running. Throttle to notch 2. And off we go. How expensive do I think this service would be? What, this particular train that I'm running? No idea. You know, a 13-mile trip, probably not that expensive. Unless you're going, you know, first class, in which case, horrendously expensive. In terms of how much do I think the DLC is going to be, the West Somerset Rail Pack, when that comes out, I think probably around 20 quid, $25, that kind of price range. And where are we off to? We're off to Ealing Broadway, where we'll be dropping off these passengers, then we'll be pulling into a siding section to turn the train round, and then we'll be making a return trip from Ealing. Let's take a look outside. I do love just how pretty this scenario is with the sun setting. It is absolutely gorgeous. The light really does glint beautifully off the side of the train. And it's a fair old size as well. How many coaches have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coaches. So it's not a particularly big rake, but it's a decent sized rake. You know, usually you'll see HSDs run with, you know, anything up to, I think, 11. Let's just put the brakes on. Anything up to 11 coaches, I think, is a full rake. It might not be that many actually, because these are express coaches. They're a little bit longer than traditional coaches, but you know, you can get, you know, some quite big rakes. 6 is quite conservative for an HST. It all depends on where the service is running and how long the platforms are. How do I do that with the cameras? What button do I press? You just hold down R3 and it pops up the choice of internal or external cameras, and from there it's just choose the camera that you want. So if we go to internal, you can go to the driver's seat or the second driver's seat, you know, the passenger seat in the cab. Let's hop onto that line there so we get the sun glinting off the side of the train. You're at the 3rd station. There is only 1 station, Martin. So you're probably on a completely different line. This is an express train, so it goes from like one point to one other point, and that's pretty much it. We're going to Ealing Broadway. We stop at Ealing Broadway. We then go to a siding a little bit further down the line to turn the train around, come in back to Ealing Broadway on the other platform, and run back to the station we just left. That's the route for this particular scenario. So if you're at the 3rd station, you're probably at Paddington, which is closed. So you're going to have a long wait. Is this on PS4? Yes, everything I do is on PS4. I'm a PS4 gamer. I don't have a gaming PC, don't have any other console, just the PS4. So anytime you see me doing anything, be it this on a live stream or my farming sim videos or City Skylines or Mud Runner or anything like that, it's always on a PS4. I think we can go a little bit faster than this. Let's get the speed up. Yeah, Martin, you are on the replacement bus service. Do I play with a scuff controller? No, just a regular DualShock 4. SCUF controllers are very nice, but horrendously expensive, and I don't want to pay upwards of 80 quid just for a D-pad. Paying 40 quid for a DualShock is bad enough. Tips. Trial and error, patience. Don't overstretch yourself when you get started straight away as well, because you only have 50 grand, and with that you've got to build enough roads to get you started so you can zone in housing and commercial and industry, and you also need to put down water pipes and pay for your water network, and power as well. You need to pay for your power, and it all disappears very, very quickly. And as soon as you start getting people into town, your services, and just the fact that you have these things like your power and your water running means you are losing money straight away, and it takes a little time for the population to get high enough where you start to generate money and stop losing money and start making a bit of a profit. So pause the game by holding down L3, or just pressing L3, sorry, to pause time as you do your initial build, and put down a few streets and get your power and your water kind of set up. Make sure you've got everything you need, so enough roads to get everything connected up, your zones for your commercial, residential and your industry. Make sure that you've got your power and your water connected up, and when you're happy that everything's done, then unpause and let time start moving and get people moving into your city. Build everything first in that initial 50 grand investment that you have, and then take it from there. You can, as you start to unlock and reach certain milestones, as you get enough people in your city, you will get little cash bonuses as you start unlocking new services as well. Plus, as you progress further through the levels, you can also start getting... We're going really slow. Why are we going so slow? Is my engine dead? There we go. Now my engine's kicked in. But yeah, get everything kind of built in pause, and then when you're happy that you've got everything you need connected up, then press play and let time sort of roll through. Nicholson Farm says, I tried Train Sim, I am always going too fast. The temptation to go ridiculously fast is an understandable one. Especially when you get in one of these. These things can go really fast. As can the express train in Germany, the S-Bahn train. That can go very, very fast, very quickly. It's a very, very modern EMU train, so it accelerates very quickly, has a very good speed, and the temptation is to just floor it, but you will, fall foul of the signals if you do that. Martin wants me to post a link to my Facebook page. Okay, yeah, I can do that. There we go. Nice and simple. Facebook.com/JimBobPlaysGames. Hi Corey, welcome to the stream. Nicholson asks, problems with workers. Not enough workers. Is that what, for industry, for commercial? Need a little bit more information than just don't have enough workers. Hi Marcel, welcome to the stream. Take another little look around as we're starting to close in. You can see we have lots and lots of snow everywhere. This is why we have Christmas closures. The rails are bad, and there are problems on the lines, which is why Paddington is closed and why we're running this diversion service to Ealing Broadway. sun is just starting to set in the distance. Hi Jason, welcome to the stream. Thank you for enjoying my content. Glad you like it. Martin, I don't tend to do things like that. You know, I want to keep my page dedicated purely just for gaming news, and it's not a cause that I'm personally involved in. So, you know, I appreciate the request. Unfortunately, I'm gonna politely say no on that one. Russ asks, how do I get DLC for City Skylines? By buying it on the PlayStation Store, or if you're on Xbox, on the Xbox Store. And then once you pay for it, you should be able to download it. There is a premium version of the game, which essentially is the game with the season pass. So if you get that version of the game, then all the DLC is free, but you still have to go online to the store to actually download it. Nicholson says industrial. Okay, so you're having industrial issues. Make sure you have decent services. Oh, we need to slow down. We are going way too fast. Let's kill the throttle. Reading more, taking too much time looking at the comments and not enough time at what's going on the track. Let's start killing that speed. We are just over a mile out. We've got a yellow signal coming up as well. Let's move the camera to a better angle. Get closer to the front of the train again. There we go. Right, so let's ease the brake off a bit now. I'll answer your question in a moment, Nicholson. We'll get into the station and then I'll go through that answer for you. Oscar asks, how long am I going to be streaming? Probably for a couple of hours. Here we are on the approach now to Ealing Broadway. Slowing the train down, just 500 yards to go. Ease the brake off a little bit. Watching my speed. You can hear the brakes squealing a little bit. And there we go. Pretty much spot on. Let's see, anyone getting off the station here? Doors are open. No one's getting off. That's odd. Although you don't really tend to see that much movement on the platforms. It's very rare you see people getting on and off the trains, even when it's the end of the line. Just going to wait a little bit longer till we can close the doors, and then... Is that Oh, it's a person. Just saw a head moving. I thought there was like a rat or something running along the bridge there. It's a head bobbing up and down. Dear, oh dear. Get ready to lock the doors.
Okay, you'll...
There we go. We need to confirm the guard signal, so I need to do this inside. There we go. Set the brakes to running. Throttle to 1. And we're off to Acton Yard Road. We'll pull into a siding there, and then we'll switch to the other end of the train and run back the other way. So, how do you improve the number of workers in your industrial estate? Make sure that you're not putting in too many educated workers in a low value industrial zone. Generally you'll tend to find if buildings in the industry zone aren't upgrading too much, then the majority of the jobs are going to be sort of low skilled jobs. So if you have highly educated people, then they're not going to want to go for those jobs. Also make sure you have good transport links, so consider running a bus service around your residential areas to a specific point, and then have a bus go from that point to your industrial zone. So you've got like a commuter service, so you can get workers in and out. Make sure you have good road network support as well. That will always help, so people that do drive in have got an easy way to get in there. I'm just going to hold at around 30 miles an hour. That should be enough, I think. No need to go too much faster. We can go up to 70, but there's no point on this short stretch. We'll just run it at 30. Russ, are you going there via the in-game, you know, sort of link, or are you going directly onto the store itself and searching for the content? Because if you're struggling to do it through the game link, just go onto the store itself. And do that as a separate, you know, independent action. We are going too fast. There we go. David says, well, that person could be a rat, you never know. Maybe. I would be a little annoyed if I was walking along a bridge and someone just shouted, "Oi, rat!" at me. Vicious Alien Gamer, hello. Welcome to the channel. And Alex, all the way from Seattle. Good afternoon. Martin says, loving the city skylines, learning so much. I'm still learning as well. You know, I mean, I am by no means an expert on that game, and I haven't played it, you know, since Snowfall. You know, I had a quick look at it when Natural Disasters came out, but, you know, I didn't really spend a lot of time with it. I've always been waiting for mass transit, so it's been a long time. Why is it not? Am I going to pull forward just a touch, or have I gone too far forward? Let's go back a little bit. We'll go on a little bit more. There we go.
Good work. Close down the desk and walk to the other cab.
So, we need to set the reverser. Oops, let's get back in the seat. Need to change the reverser to neutral and then turn the key off. Oh, no, reverse it to engine off. And then change the key. There we go. Lights, switch those to tail lights. And switch to the other side. It's a shame we can't actually open this door and walk through. Yeah, we can open this door, I think. I'll close that. Oh, no, we can't. I was thinking of a different train. But there is no way you can actually walk through. I mean, this is all just the engine all the way down here, but you can't actually walk through the centre and then come out here or cut through to there. You know, those doors don't work, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm still learning on City Skylines as well. I mean, I still make mistakes. I still pick up, you know, things as I play. I'm completely self-taught, you know. It's hard to... I mean, you can learn some basics in terms of principles from watching PC stuff, but you can't really learn how to do it with controls. Plus, the game plays a different way on PC because it's a lot more intricate than it is on consoles. So I kind of... I don't tend to watch PC versions of games that are on console because they generally tend to be vastly different experiences and don't really tell me what I need to know and just make me envious that I can't do what I want to do or what I'd like to do because it's not a feature that's available. Right, so we need to get this one up and running, so let's get the lights.
Job, I think.
Daylights, turn on the key, set the reverser to forward. I think that's everything. Train brake to running, throttle to notch 1, and back we go to Ealing Broadway to do the return run. Is the short draw distance normal or just, you know, kind of, you know, standard? Well, you don't get a huge draw distance in this. I mean, the game is actually very well detailed, you know, when you get up close, but because it is scaled realistically, so this 13-mile stretch is a scaled 13-mile stretch. It's not like a squashed, you know, version of a stretch of road or stretch of rail, for example, that you would get on Grand Theft Auto, which takes a large area and squashes it right down. This is simulated proper to scale, you know, 13 miles. So it builds very realistic, you know, kind of, you know, networks and stuff. And one of the ways to help keep performance running on what is essentially designed for a pretty powerful PC to get it running well on a console, it does have a reduced draw distance. But it's not that bad, and it's a lot cloudier and sort of foggier because of the weather. You know, it's normally a lot clearer that you can see a bit further in the distance, but when you go externally, if we just pop into this for a second, oops, there we go, camera mode, then, I mean, you can't really see much because of the snow and the fog, but you can see into the distance, but you can't go massively into the distance, you know, when it's clear skies. You'll see, we'll do another scenario with better weather, and you'll be able to see a more accurate representation of the draw distances. But they are a little bit limited, but that's to be expected. You know, this is a console playing a game that's designed to run and look incredibly stunning on a very powerful PC. And it runs very well on the console, I have to say. Posh Dan says, evening. Evening to you, Posh Dan. Hey Cameron, welcome to the stream. Martin, spoilers. Some people might not be that far ahead in the series. But yeah, I am very proud of how Lone Oak has been shaping out. It is by far my best work, I think, that I've done for Farming Simulator. My storytelling in that series has really move forward at leaps and bounds. In my other series, it's just been a case of I'm going to run this farm and I'm just going to talk about how I'm running the farm, and that's it. This, I'm actually building a storyline into it for the first time, a proper storyline, and I'm very pleased and proud of the way it's turning out. Still got a little way to go. We are planning on running a 3-year run on that farm. Judged to perfection. Look at that. Fantastic. Getting a lot better at stopping where I'm supposed to. Regular viewers of my live stream will know that I have a tendency to overshoot the stops quite badly. Sometimes I miss the station entirely. But I'm getting a lot better. Hi, Viking Blood and Cold Chase, welcome to the stream. No problem, Martin. Just, as I said, because there's an underlying storyline running through, you know, just don't give away anything that has happened, you know, in the more recent stuff in case anyone hasn't got that far yet. I know that some people don't get to watch every day, and so are a little bit behind. And I'd hate for, you know, storylines to be sort of spoilt for them. Right. No need to do the guard buzzer this time. Off we go. Take a quick screenshot of that, I think. Yeah, so again, we're talking about the draw distances and how the weather is affecting those draw distances a little bit. You can barely see the back of the train at the moment, but you would be able to see that very clearly, you know, in better weather. So the fog does play a part. Leave it at throttle 3 and we'll run the 12 miles back to Slough, and then that'll be the end of the service. We'll move on to another scenario. Is this game worth the money? As I heard the DLC, ooh, we've hit hit something, and it's kind of pushed the camera underground. This is something that does happen from time to time, and I'm kind of stuck here at the moment. I don't know if I can get. There we go. Popped us back up. This is why I normally have the camera up high to avoid getting pushed underground like that. Is the game worth it? I've heard the DLC will be very expensive when it comes out. The game is worth it if you have an interest in trains, or you know, or driving a train. Oh, look at that! We've just earned a reward for driving 100 miles in the HST. Fantastic. So yeah, if you do enjoy this kind of simulator, then yeah, it's worth the money. If you've never played something like this before, or you think you'd have a little bit of fun, but you don't think it's something you would enjoy long term, then maybe it's not the game for you. I mean, it's a hardcore simulator in the sense that, you know, it's very true to life. You know, you run passenger services back and forth on you know, different stretches of track, and they are a little limited in terms of selection at the moment, and that will be supplemented with DLC, and the DLC won't be cheap, but it is to a very high quality, and everything is completely authentic. It's properly modelled. It's genuine locomotives, genuine stretches of track. It's a very realistic, detailed simulator in that respect. So you get what you pay for, but you have to really get the best out of this game. You have to have some kind of interest in either driving trains or just trains in general. Otherwise, it's a game a bit like Mud Runner that you'll have some fun with, but you'll probably get bored of after a little while. Viking Blood says, it amazes me that JB has not got loads more subscribers. Well, feel free to spread the channel around, share it with your friends, recommend me to others. If you like what you see and you want others to watch as well, by all means help spread the word. You guys can really help with that, by supporting the channel, not just in terms of watching stuff, but also if you enjoy it, recommending me to other people. That will help as well. So thank you in advance if you are doing that. Adam, welcome to the stream. I didn't see you pop in there. You've just hit autumn on Lone Oak with your first harvest. What are you harvesting? Which crop? And which field? Oh, whoa. Yeah, we ran into the side of a building and it kind of screwed up the camera for a second there, but all is good. We're back to where we should be. Let's run side by side with our engine. There we go. Actually, let's try driving in the cab for a little while. Just see kind of like the sun setting over there in the distance. You can see it kind of shining through the windows, casting that glow on our dashboard here. We're running at 100. I think that's fast enough. We'll ease off the throttle now. Some good fields to work there. 49's a big field. That'll take you a little while to get done. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for jumping into the live stream here. I do try to keep my streams nice and chilled and relaxed. No need for over the top silly shouting and crazy voices, and I like to have a nice chilled out, relaxing kind of chinwag with my friends, and this is a great game for us to do that with. Are you running the Oregon Geo, Adam? David, yeah, no raptors munching my park guests on these live streams. We'll save that for the videos. Yeah, I've heard that the Oregon Geo tends to be quite wet in autumn, and I've got a lot of crops to harvest in year 2, and summer's glorious. It's like blazing sunshine every day of summer. And then all I can see so far is the first 2 days of autumn, and they're both rainy days. So I'm kind of worried about just how wet autumn is going to be because I'm going to have a lot of stuff that needs harvesting in autumn. And I'm worried I might not have time to get it all done. I might have to do some midnight harvesting. I have been toying with the idea of streaming a little bit of Mud Runner. You know, just been playing that actually with Adam just a couple of days ago. Helped me knock out a couple of the multiplayer trophies. I have one trophy left to get my my platinum trophy, and that is to complete Deluge on hardcore. I had a quick run on it earlier, and on my final run to get my trucks with the second load of logs through, they both capsized, and I just quit in frustration. Because I would have had to start all over again. But I might stream my attempt to get my platinum trophy on Mud Runner. That's something I might do. Start to slow down. We're just over or just under a mile and a half away, and we're still doing around 90. So we'll slow it down a little bit. Nicholson Farm Services is playing on Old Valley, Valley the Old Farm. I had a lot of fun on that map, and I ran on there for I think a year and a half on my series. It's a good map, and the ability to turn those fences off really does help. You know, since the map was updated. I think the farm storage is a little over the top with 3 million litres, but you know, it's a good map to work on. A lot of good sized fields to work, and you can really plough together some monster fields on that map as well. So here we are arriving back at Slough where we started. We're going to try and get it on the nose in cab this time. Slowly dropping my speed down. Brakes squealing away in the distance. There's another HST on the other platform there, look. Just release the brakes for a second. And we'll just roll this last 60 yards or so for a moment. Ah, spot on again. Beautiful. Let's open the doors up. Am I playing on a standard PS4 or a Pro? I'm playing on a Pro. I don't know if there's a significant difference in performance between this and a regular PS4 for this game. I know some games do get, you know, improvements, others not so much. Others have specific settings that have to be turned on, you know, for there to be, you know, the enhanced version of the game. But you know, some are just naturally run a little bit smoother. I know that City Skylines runs a bit smoother on a Pro than it does on a regular PS4. I don't know about this. Hi Paul, hi Brandon, welcome to the stream. And we're almost done here, just need to close the doors. And that, I think, is us. Yeah, there we go.
We made a good team there. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Well, thank you very much. Let's get off the train. Walk on over to the exit. And this scenario is done. Let's run. Walking is more realistic, but god damn, it takes some time to run, to walk this distance. And there we go. So you can see we've hardly run the Class 43 at all. We've been running a lot with the 166. So we're at level 12 with the Great Western, pack. We're only at level 3, well, 3 and a bit with the Class 43. So we need to do some more running with this, really. So let's see, what other scenarios are there for the Class 43? I think there's one other, maybe two more. Let's have a look. And there's another advert from Dovetail about the upcoming Somerset pack. Really cannot wait for that. I'll keep an eye out for that, Adam, when I come to do my harvesting on year 2. I didn't really pay much attention in year 1, but I'll have a look for that in year 2. It looks like we've actually just skipped on to the next scenario. I didn't want to do that because this is a 1/6. That's a Class 66 mission. We don't want to do that today. So, scenarios. So, down the line, I think that's an HST. Or is it Westworld? Oh no, this is the one. Yeah, this is an HST one. So we end up catching a Class 166 into Paddington, and then we have to wait around for about 15 minutes before we can actually start driving the service. That's a long time to hang around and wait and do nothing. So we won't be doing that. That's freight. That's freight. That's a 166. So there are no more scenarios. Oh damn it, I forgot to turn off notifications. 1 second, guys. There we go. So we shouldn't get any more notifications popping up now. So we're going to go into services and we're going to run the Class 43 on a random service. Let's randomise the weather. Winter snow. Well, we've just done a snow one there. Let's randomise again. Autumn drizzle. You know what? I like autumn, but let's do autumn clear. Because I did want to show off the difference in the draw distances, didn't I? So we'll do an autumn clear. I know it's kind of cheating a little bit, considering we were supposed to do random, but it's my stream, my rules. So, let's see. What do we want to run? We've got a choice of all these different services. London Paddington to Penzance. I don't think I've ever done that service before. You know what, I'm going to do that one. Let's go to Penzance in Cornwall. Normally I end up just running back and forth between Paddington and Reading. So this is a different direction. I think this will be a different line. A line I don't think I've ever run on before. This could be interesting. Okay. Stop at Reading. What? We're driving to Reading after all. Okay. Let's turn on the key. Reverse it into forwards. Let's do our lights. What time is it? Morning. Looks dark out there, but we'll be okay on the daylights. Anything else I need to do? Nope. Let's open the doors up. It's the wrong doors. That's the... That's opening them onto the track. It's the doors on the right hand side we need. There we go. I think, actually, everyone's already on here. Yeah, we've already got people on the train. Okay, let's... release the brakes. And out. Here we are in London. Early in the morning, so the sun is rising somewhere. Not quite sure where. Oh, there it is. It's kind of rising up behind us by the look of it. That's a decent camera distance, I think. There we go. So, 34 miles to go, and it looks as though we are going to Reading after all. Never mind. Hi, Joey. Welcome to the stream. How cold is it in Canada right now? Or is it quite warm? I suppose it's... Technically, I suppose it's summer in Canada, isn't it? Or the end of summer. What's the temperature like over there? Just slow down a touch. We are going a little bit too fast. There we go. So while we're going over these switches, this will give you an idea of the kind of distance that you can see in the background. It's all built up, so you can't really see past some of these taller buildings, and some of the graphics are a little clunky on the stuff, but you can see a lot of stuff gets modelled in as you go through. There's a surprising amount of detail despite the lack of necessary visual sharpness. It's still, you know, when you get really close to things, they can look very, very detailed indeed. And obviously the stars of the show are the trains themselves. They are, well, most highly detailed. But the whole network does look pretty good. So this is as high as I can go, I think. Yeah. So again, you can see we've got a decent kind of size. It goes back a fair way before you can't really see any further. And you can see we can see quite far into the distance as well. So the draw distances are pretty good in this game when you've got clear weather, and then not so good when you have rough weather. 23 degrees C, that's about the temperatures we've been having over here. That's not too bad. Actually might be slightly warmer than it is over here at the moment. It's been a little cool in the last couple of days. That's mainly because it's been wet. Right, let's rack the throttle up a little bit more. We can go up to 50. And we've got a 100 mile an hour zone coming up in a moment. And we'll take another look at the sort of side terrain as we move out of London itself. We start moving out of the built-up area. I do like some of the details that we see, like these water towers here. Well, they are some kind of cooling tower, I think. As we moved away from the sort of like the really built up area over there, you can see as everything kind of flattens out a bit, you can see a little way into the distance, and we're starting to move out to areas where we will have some countryside as well. And all of these, as I say, all of these bits of the track that you can see, this is all genuine. This is exactly how it is laid out in real life. So we do have switching yards and you know, sidings for storing of trains, and you'll see engine sheds and everything like that. Some of the surrounding details are a little bit fudged in places, but the actual track layout itself is 100% accurate. Right, let's start to crank up the throttle. I have this annoying habit of getting where I need to go way too fast. Just looking at this actually, stopping at Reading at 7:32, that's 32 miles away. We've got 20 minutes to get there. We're actually going to have to put our foot down for a change. Someone who lives in my area who's got a crotch rocket motorcycle. 166 just whizzing through on the other line there. But they've got this. They've got a crotch rocket, and they just whiz up and down the main road all throughout the day. I just keep hearing this constant blaring of that thing, you know, being absolutely hammered down the road. I'm amazed he hasn't been nicked yet. He seems to burn down the road, turn around, and then a few minutes later comes back blaring at full speed again. He's going to get himself or someone else killed if he keeps doing that. Alright David, take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you on another stream. Can you see the controls in the loco at night, or is it lit? Just got smacked in the face by an oncoming 43 as I glanced away at the screen for a second then. Just watching the replay on my laptop. Yeah, never even saw that train coming. It just smacked me straight in the face. You can see inside, you know, if I just pop in the cab. There are cab lights. I'm not entirely sure exactly where they are in here. Let me have a move around with the cursor. Actually, they might be down here somewhere. Whoa, my this is normally so much smoother, the cursor. It's moving a bit jerky for some reason. I don't know why. But one of the options in here, I'm trying to remember where it is cab lighting. So you can actually choose to have the lights on in the cab. I know where it is on the 166 because I drive that train all the time. Can't remember where the hell those controls are in here. Let me click that off for a second. It's driving me nuts. That's my rail lights. It's somewhere over here, I think. That's my wipers control there. No. It's one of these ones. Headlights flash. Train supply. DRA. No. Parking brake. Emergency brake. I know there's a cab lighting switch somewhere. Gauge dimmer. Aha! Look at that. We can light up the dials. That's kind of cool. Never played about with that control before. Brake testing. I don't want that. My engine controls. Somewhere in here, I'm sure it's in here, is a... Oh, there it is. Look, it's on the wall. There we go. So you have got cab light. It's just there. Look, that's what I was looking for. On this side as well. So you have got cab lighting. So when it's dark, you can flick the lights on. You don't really need them during daytime running, but at night time it can help. But of course you can, you know, brighten up your gauges like that, as we've just seen. Evening, Adrian. Welcome to the stream. Do I play Farming Simulator 17? Yes, I do. It's the main focus of my channel. I do a lot of other games as well, but I do a lot of Farming Simulator. I've got more Farming Simulator content on my channel than any other game. How are we doing for time? We're doing 125 miles an hour, nearly. We are at 7:17, and we have to arrive at Reading in 15 minutes, and we're still 23 miles away. We should make it. Let's go to the front camera. So there's another kind of look at the draw distances of what you can see in the distances on the sides. That's kind of like your view range there, and you can see way off into the distance there as well, as you can see. And behind us, we can see our full rake of coaches. So you do get a really good, you know, depending on the lighting conditions, you can get some really good distances that you can see. Let's put the camera about there, I think. Let's see how that goes. The graphics are pretty good. I mean, they could be a little bit better. You'd see the trailers on YouTube for this game when it was announced, and like the release trailers, and it looks stunning. But that's 4K on a high-end PC. But even on the, you know, on a 1080p run out, they do look good. And you're actually seeing a 720p broadcast. I'm broadcasting in 720p to keep the stream a little bit more stable, because I have found, you know, my internet tends to play merry hell when I try and stream in 1080 for some reason. It's much more comfortable with a 720p stream. So the graphics that you're seeing on screen are not quite as good as they do look in reality. They're actually a little bit better than you're seeing. They're not a touch on the 4K, you know, high-end PC stuff, which looks amazing, absolutely incredible. But for a console game, it looks absolutely brilliant. You know, generally you tend to find with simulators that some stuff tends to look quite hokey. This doesn't look hokey at all. This looks great. Well, I hope you've got a 4K TV as well, Joey, or else the One X is kind of a waste of money. What part of the UK am I from? Originally I'm from Warwickshire, in Rugby, but now I live in Nottingham. We are losing some speed. Let's throttle up a little bit. How far out are we? 18 miles. We've got 12 minutes to do 18 miles. I don't know if we're going to do this or not. Let's max the throttle out. Let's get back up to 125 as quick as we can, because we're going to have a period where we're going to slow down. One of the things I do love as well, the little attention to detail, is that when you really crank the throttle up again, you see this sudden burst of smoke coming out the diesel exhausts on the top of the engines. I do like that. It's just such an obvious little thing, but you wouldn't necessarily spot it. You know, it's a little harder to see in this light. In the middle of the day, it's much easier to see, because you haven't got that kind of smoke-coloured light in the background. But it's just one of those things that you could easily miss, is just that sudden change in smoke colour. It's such a simple little thing, and it could easily be overlooked, but they put it in, and it works really well. I'm going to try and get a good screenshot, I think, while we're running with this lighting, because this looks great. Try and get the little white cursor over one of the headlights to disguise it a little bit. There we go. It's pretty much perfect. And there is our thumbnail for this when it gets uploaded onto YouTube as a replay. Oh, yeah. I just kind of switched onto driver mode for a second. Then I thought I'd put my reverser into the wrong direction and stalled the speed, but I didn't. I'm okay. Right, we can idle off the throttle. 14 miles to go, 10 minutes to do it. It's going to be close. Oh, what is going on with my speed? Oh no, my reverser, I turned the engine off. How the hell did I do that? No idea how the hell I did that. I wasn't paying attention and somehow I managed to completely kill all of my speed. That could make us a little bit late into Reading. Because now I've got to accelerate all the way back up to 125 again. And we are less than 9 minutes from arriving at Reading, apparently. How much longer is the stream running for? Well, we've only been running for a little over an hour, so at least another hour, I would say. We'll do another service after this one's done, and then we'll see. 3 runs might be enough. And if we do end the stream a little bit earlier, then I might stick some Mud Runner on and try and go for that platinum trophy. Get the speed back up. We're going too slow. We're going way too slow. Yeah, the lighting in this game is really, really nice. They do all sorts of lovely little sunsets and sunrises in this game, and the weather can be interesting as well. I've driven the 166 in a blizzard in pitch black, and that's very hard to see where you're going when you're driving a cab. You need the wipers on full speed, and even then, you get snow splattering all over the windscreen ridiculously quickly. Haven't tried driving this one in a blizzard yet. Maybe we could do that next. Try driving this in a blizzard. I'm curious to see what the in-cab would look like. I know the wipers on this are pretty slow. 6. I think for the Class 43 they are on. Yeah, I'm noticing it keeps freezing a little bit as well. Maybe my internet's hiccuping a little bit, but at least it hasn't scrambled the image, which is good. Sometimes that's what happens, is like a little hiccup and it scrambles the image and it makes it, almost unwatchable for the rest of the stream. So it seems to be pretty smooth. Let's just do a quick pan check. See how stable it looks. I wasn't sure if its stuttering was just me, but obviously I'm reading the comments and it seems to be happening for you guys as well. No, it looks decent. It looks decent when I pan around. Normally it gets incredibly bit rated, but bad Wi-Fi on the train, quite possibly, yeah. The train network Wi-Fi is usually pretty poor. How are we doing? We're 7 miles out and 5 minutes out, according to our timetable. So this is going to be close. We're making good time now, but we are going to have to start slowing down pretty soon. So we need to kind of make hay while the sun shines, so to speak, and really munch up these miles while we can run at this top speed before we have to slow down, because then our miles per hour ratio is going to be off. Am I wireless from the router to the PS4? Yes and no. I'm wireless to an extender in my room, and then I've got a cable running from the extender to the back of the console, so it kind of creates a wired wireless signal. It's the best I can do in terms of getting my connection, but even so, I mean, there's only so much you can do with your internet connection. Even if I had it wired directly to the router, it still wouldn't be that much better, because it would be dependent on the speeds. It just determines how strong my signal is, and the signal's pretty strong. Now, being wired directly to an extender, which isn't too far away from the actual router itself, so it could be a little bit better, but not much. Right, we are 2.3 miles, 2.2 miles away from a slowdown area. 3.6 miles out, 3.5 minutes out, so, 3 minutes out. So we've really clawed back that gap, but we need to keep running fast. We're going to have to slow down quite fast as we approach that 90 zone, or 95 zone. Alright, Joey, take it easy. Thanks for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see you again in the future. Well, smacked in the face by another train. This is becoming a little bit too commonplace. Alright, now we need to start slowing down, because now we are going way too fast. We're going to have to slow down again once we go through the speed bet. I bet, yeah, there we go. See, a mile away, we've got a 60 zone. What are we doing on time? We are 2 minutes out and 1.3 miles. I'm going to get a little bit closer before I start slowing down, I think. Oh, no, that's about as far as I can go. I'm going to have to start slowing down now. A mile out. We're going to do it. We're going to get there on time, just. It's going to be close, but we're going to do it. Let's slow down a bit more. At the speed, I'm looking at the time. Oh, we got this. We've got this sorted. Take this, take the brakes off completely. Coasting at 24 miles an hour. We're actually going to get here possibly a few seconds early. Signal to the face. love listening to those brakes squealing like that as they're slowing the train down. And you can hear the hiss of the air brakes as well. Or, well, the hydraulics, not the air brakes. They are discs. Perfect. And 7:32. Beautiful. We made it slap bang on time. That is fantastic. Right, unlock left. Anyone getting off? Well, we've got someone waiting to get on. Is he just going to stand there? He's probably just going to stand there and not actually get on the train. It's a very pretty shot with the light there shining with the sunrise. Well, the sun shining on the coach there, and the platform lighting as well. It's a nice little glow running down the side of the train. I might. Oops. Let's put the reverser in neutral. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, that's my screenshot. Look at that light glow. That's beautiful. Oh, and there we go. That was it. That was the end of the scenario. So the service goes on all the way to Penzance, but the line only goes as far as Reading. So bang on time. Stopped in the perfect spot. We couldn't have done that any better if we tried. Next service starts in a few minutes, but we've done this one, so we'll quit to the main menu and we'll do one more service. And this time we will go random weather. And if we get winter, we get winter. If we get spring or summer, we get those. Autumn cloudy. Okay, yeah, we can do autumn cloudy. So that's the service that we've just done. We could go Hereford. Back to Paddington. It's about the same distance that we've just run. Oh, it's the same train, look. It's just running in the opposite direction. So we'll be starting here in Reading and running from Hereford. Hereford has come to Reading, and now we're going to run from Reading back to Paddington. Same again as the London to Cheltenham Spa, but it's only going to go as far as where we already are, so it's the same route we've just done. These are all going to be exactly the same, look. Well, that's a short one there. London Paddington to Old Oak Common Depot. I think we'll finish with that. So let's find a service that runs into London Paddington. So Weston-super-Mare to London Paddington, and then when we get there we'll do London Paddington to Old Oak Common to close us off. This, to me, is the only downside of the Class 43 service, is that it is essentially just one route, from Paddington to Reading and Reading to Paddington. So you just keep running the same 32, 34 mile stretch of track over and over again. Depending, it doesn't matter which service you choose. You can only go as far as Reading. So we are good to go, and it's much clearer weather. Look, thought this was supposed to be cloudy. So our reverser is set to engine off at the moment. We need to turn the key. Engine into forward. We need to do our lights. Day headlamps and markers. We are good to go. Nope, release the brakes as well. Yeah, brakes are... there we go. We are off and running to London Paddington. We've got a bit more time this time. You can see 20 past. We've got 26 minutes to do 35 miles. Should be able to do that, no problem at all. So the sun is now starting to rise. It's 8:46, well, 8:20 in the morning. You can see the sun is up. The sky is a bit brighter. A few clouds in the sky. Let's see what it looks like outside. Oh, it's beautiful. So there goes Reading, leaving it in the distance. A little pan around. Let's ride with a slightly different perspective on this route here. Let's ride down low on the rails. Looks like a nose cam kind of thing. No, I haven't had the chance to watch much Welker stuff recently. Is that a new... they've got a new harvester? What one have they got? First fully automated harvester in the world. I'm going to have to check that out at some point this weekend, I think. I've seen Case's automated tractors, but I haven't seen an automated harvester. Although it's something that they have been talking about for quite some time. And by they, I mean Case, not Welker. Okay, let's see. We have 23 minutes, 22 minutes to do 31 miles. We should do this nice and comfortably. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. The one thing I do like about this perspective is you can see how subtle the bends in the rail are. You know, when we do, you know, things like city skylines and stuff, you know, obviously we put quite sharp turns on our trains and they just whiz around them like there's absolutely no problem at all. But in reality, corners just do not like work that way for railways. You have a kind of a maximum kind of tightness that you can go, a maximum radius that you can really go, you know, or minimum radius you can go as low as, and then beyond that, you're just asking for derailments if you go around them, you know, too tight. And if you go around, you know, tightish corners too fast, again, you're just asking the train to throw itself off the rails. So in reality, when you have trains running through at speed, it's always very subtle. Very, very subtle. You'll notice the difference between points as well, these switches coming up. You know, you can see these are express points, so they're quite long and stretched. Whereas, you know, in the low zones, you'll tend to find that they're a lot sharper, a lot more severe, because, you know, there's speed limits and restrictions in those places. You can only go over them usually around 15 to 20 miles an hour, whereas those ones, you know, those express points, you can whiz over those much faster. Have I thrown the tracks yet? I haven't derailed on points yet, but I have kind of derailed the train once. And it was actually one of these Class 43s at the end of one of my live streams, one of my first look live streams, when I crashed into the bumpers at the end of the end of the platform at Paddington, and the impact threw the train off the track. That's the only time I've derailed. But I have had other people tell me that they've derailed themselves a few times, and they're not quite sure how they did it. May have been a bug, I don't know. Alright, let's pan the camera around a bit. Let's run like this for a little while. You just see me peering out the window there. You're waving. Where are you? Oops. No, I'm glad I moved actually. We would have been flattened by that 166 that just went by on the other rail. So we blast through another station. let's do a time check. Let's see, we are 21 miles out and 16 minutes out. 17 minutes out. So we need to claw back 4 miles, working on a 60 mile an hour average. And we're doing double that speed at the moment, so we should do that quite quickly. Should easily get on time to London Paddington. Starting to freeze on the stream again. Is that happening for everyone else, or is it just my browser that's doing that? Now that we've cleared those trees. Yeah, don't forget I'm streaming in 720p to try and keep the stream a little bit more stable rather than 1080p. I have had some issues streaming 1080 in the past, so I'm streaming at 720 at the moment in standard definition, standard frame rates, just so that it hopefully keeps it together a little bit better. Paul says, the only train I've driven is an 03 at Barrow Hill. That's one more train than I've driven. I would love to get behind the controls of one of these things, but that's never going to happen. We talked about this last time out. You can do track days and you can get behind the wheel of expensive cars on like red letter days and things like that. But there's no book a day out kind of experience for driving a train. It just doesn't happen. What freight trains are in the game? For the GW pack? Oh, not getting me that time. For the freights, there are a couple of freight trains. So for the UK pack, the GWR pack that we're actually in at the moment, there's the Class 66 available in a choice of DW Schenker or EWS liveries. Also DB Schenker. So 2 different liveries for the Class 66, and there are a couple of scenarios you can do, and you can do some services, shunting wagons, or running services, freight services back and forth. And for the American pack, the NEC New York pack, there is also the CSX loco where you can do some stuff there as well. So you can do a couple of different scenarios. One is a trash run that we have done in a first look stream. There's another one where you run some freight. We'll take a look at that one in the future. It's got over the 166 there. And there's also a free shunting scenario. It's like a 60-minute scenario. I don't know whether it just ends after 60 minutes, but you can basically just hop in a loco and just shunt wagons around the yard to your heart's content. There's no instructions in that scenario. There's no, you must move this to this location, or you must go to this, this station and move X passengers to Y station. It's just jump in a train and start shunting around in the yard. It's entirely up to you what you do in that time. So there's a couple of different options for freight. There's no freight coming in the new, not really, not as such, in the new expansion. It's a heritage line, the West Somerset Rail Heritage Pack, which is the DLC that's coming on the 11th of September. And that will include a Class 47 diesel locomotive, a rake of restored Mark I coaches, which look beautiful both inside and out, and then there's a little 060 shunter to go with that as well. Diesel, or it might be a 161 actually, diesel shunter, and that's basically there so you can shunt the carriages around at the end of each at each end of the stretch of Heritage Line. It's probably not going to be an amazingly long route. I'll have to look at the details as we get closer to the launch. It is 10 days away now, 9 days away, depending on where you are in the world. It's not available for pre-order. You just have to wait till the day it comes out, and then you'll be able to download it. Still don't know how much it's going to cost. I'm guessing probably... Ooh, I hate when the camera does that, when you run into a solid object like a bridge. It just tries to kill you. It's probably going to be somewhere around 20 quid, I think, is going to be the price for that pack. But I will definitely be featuring that on the channel. You know, you guys have been awesome with some donations recently, and so I've got some money put aside now to pay for, you know, upcoming DLCs and new games, which is fantastic. You know, there's some stuff coming out, a lot of stuff actually coming out in quick succession over the next few months, and I would only be able to feature a small portion of what's going to become available without, you know, the backing of you guys. So, you know, for everyone who has donated to the channel recently, you know, big thank you. Martin, Marcel, David, who was in the chat earlier, Ryan actually sent me a very nice donation last night. Had a little chat with Ryan for about an hour on Messenger last night, chatting away. Those guys have been brilliant. You know, so generous of them with the money they've put forward to help support the channel. And as I say, it's enabling me to pick up games and DLCs that I would not normally be able to afford, so I can feature them on the channel for you guys as well. So a big thank you to everyone who has contributed recently. Let's do another time check. So we're due to arrive 8:46. We've got just under 10 minutes. We're 7 miles out, so we've definitely made good time. I think. Oh, there we go. Look, there is the speed change warning. So we need to start to scrub a little bit of speed off. 2 miles to go to a 100 zone. And the run into Paddington, because there's a lot of, you know, switching over onto different lines, because it's a massive multi-platform station, means that we are going to have speed restrictions earlier on the way into Paddington than we did on the way into Reading. So we just need to bleed the speed off a little bit more. There we go, that's 100. We'll leave it at 100 for the next mile or so. I'm going to switch to in-cab for a bit. So here goes the speed boost or speed change. No new restriction yet, so we can carry on at the speed for a little while longer yet. But we are ahead of schedule now. We've got 4 miles to go. We're still doing above 60. Oh, and there we go. 2.5 miles to go. We dropped to 50. So let's start scrubbing speed now, because that's quite a bit to scrub off. That's half our speed. We're 3.5 miles out. And we've got 7.5 minutes to get there, so we're doing really well time wise. We're easily going to get in there. Chris, what is the Sim Train Galaxy Edition? Is that a PC game or a PC version of this, like an expansion for this on PC? because there's actually multiple different versions of Train Sim on PC. There's Train Sim World, which is this game, and then there's Train Simulator 2018, which is the one with a crap ton of different DLC packs available, which are all, we need to start totaling them all up. It's quite expensive. And Train Sim 2019 has been announced. I'm not sure when that comes out, probably towards the end of this year, maybe beginning of next year. So what's the Galaxy 1 part then? What's the is that a specific locomotive that's, because I've not heard of that one. It must be a PC only bit of content, the Galaxy 1. Just honk the horn at the passing Class 43 there. Oh, we've got another one stuck at some signals, I think, or just pulling out. Yeah, just pulling out. It's very busy. I don't normally see this many trains in quick succession on the run-in. It is rush hour, I suppose. I thought that was just a different version of the CSX locomotive that you got in the Digital Deluxe Edition. I'm surprised they still haven't made whatever that digital difference was available as a separate piece of content yet. I'll have to get in touch with Dovetail about that and see if I can find out some more details as to if and when that will be made available for people who didn't get the deluxe edition. Ooh, need to slow down. The game's a little bit jerky tonight. Now, I did actually upgrade my system to the latest system software patch earlier today, and I'm wondering if that's having an effect. Because the game isn't normally this jerky, but I have noticed as we've been pulling in, it's been a little bit jerky tonight for some reason. Not the stream, the actual game itself. And I've never experienced that before. Maybe it's just the specific time of day and all the lighting effects that are going on are slowing things down a touch. Yeah, I know there's two different versions of the PlayStation 4, Chris. This is the standard edition, not the deluxe edition. But I was led to believe that the only difference between the two was an additional version of the CSX logo, and that was the only difference, in an extra $5. We actually have picked up a mile. Yeah, we're doing 26. Picked up a little bit of speed there. It must have had a slight downward gradient. We're running at a flat gradient at the moment. But here you can see how sharp these switches are, these points, because we're running in a low speed zone. Whereas the express points that we were whizzing over earlier at high speeds, much, much shallower. And here we are arriving into Paddington. Yeah, so those buffers in front of us there, they're the ones I crashed into once on my first look live stream, and it derailed the train because I hit them at about 30 miles an hour, I think, 20 miles an hour. You know, I hit them, well, I shouldn't hit them in the first place, but I hit them at a speed that was certainly going to shake the train off the track completely. And it was an instant fail on the service I was running. So let's get the passengers off the train, and then that'll be the end of this service, and then we will go back into the menu and we'll run from here to the depot, and then we'll close the stream down, I think. Alright, Chris Hart, thanks for subscribing. I hope you'll enjoy future content. It's good to have you with us, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future. There we go, that should be end of service. Look at that. We actually arrived 2 minutes early. Fantastic stuff. Right, so we need to quit to the main menu so we can get the depot mission. Am I going to be getting the new spin tyres content? Yes, I am. As soon as they announce A, how much it's going to cost, B, when it's actually going to release. All we know is it's Q4. That's it. No price has been discussed yet, or officially anyway. There might be some rumours floating around there, but I haven't seen a suggested price yet. And no confirmed release date yet either. So we were running, what was it, autumn cloudy we were running, wasn't it? We'll do the same times, and then we're going to run here from Paddington to the Old Oak Common Depot. You'll just have to wait and see, Marcel. You should know by now. You can ask me all these leading questions, but I'm never going to give away what's going to happen in the episode until until the episode goes live. Okay, do I have to mess around with this stuff again? I do. Put it in forwards. Let's do the lights. Off we go. Oh, brakes. Off we go to Old Oak Common Depot. It doesn't look like we have any time restrictions on this day. You can see a 166 pulling out just over there. We are limited to just 25 miles an hour at the moment. We will be able to go up to 40 in a moment. What's up, FS Club? Yeah, I can't wait for the Somerset pack either. Just 10 days to go, or 9, depending on where you are. Technically, it is now the 2nd. It's 25 past midnight, so it's technically the 2nd over here now. So 9 days to go. Although I doubt the DLC will go live at midnight. It'll probably go live at some point midday, I think, maybe. I don't know. It varies from developer to developer, from game to game. And there always seems to be a strange time delay, I've noticed, on Farming Simulator content going live in the States. Always seems to go live mid-afternoon in the States, whereas it usually goes live at midnight in the UK. So it's several hours discrepancy. I don't know why that is. But I do get a little chuckle every time. Every time a DLC pack comes out for Farming Simulator, I just see this rage comments from all the Americans in the Farming Simulator group moaning that everyone else has got their hands on the content and they don't. But we're behind the Australians, so even though we get it a little bit earlier than they do, we're still behind the Australians. They always get it a day early. Let's idle the throttle. We don't need to go fast. We have no timetable to keep to. We're just going to the depot to park the train up for the end of the run. And we've only got a mile to go anyway, so may as well keep it nice and slow. We've got to slow down. 25 mile an hour zone coming up again. Slap those brakes on. Go. So that means we're switching lines again. There we go. Very sharp. those points there. We've got a 15 mile an hour zone coming up. Start to bleed that speed down a little bit more. There goes a 43 out on a proper service run there. I wonder which station they're heading off to. If it was us, it would be Reading, because that's pretty much the only line we can run on, or the only stop we can go to with the 43s. I do hope that they expand, put a future pack on that joins onto this one, so you can actually run from Paddington to further than just Reading. Run 60 miles instead of just 30. That would be awesome. Have I caught the new content coming up for Jurassic World? Not yet. I know that there is a big update coming. I haven't looked into the specifics of that yet. I've been busy with a lot of recording over the last couple of days. Just haven't had the chance to go looking at it. It did slip my mind, but I will check that out before I turn in tonight, I think. Have a look at that in a bit more detail. Just pootling along here at 15 miles an hour. .500 yards away from the depot itself, I think, or at least 500 yards away from our objective. We might have to get out and do some switch throwing, possibly. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Oh, we're moving lines again. There's another 43 making its way into Paddington there. I wonder if we'll ever get the London Underground as an expansion. That would be interesting. can't go past this red signal or else it's an instant fail. And there we go, that was it. Literally just park up here. So my guess is that this is then going to go in back into Paddington on a different platform to then become a different service. That would be how I'd interpret that. But there we go. Wait for service to start at 11 o'clock. And of course there is no time skip feature in this. So if we wanted to stay in this train and run this service, we would have to sit here for an hour and 17 minutes. And that's not going to happen. Yeah, we're going to end the stream here in just a moment. But I am going to... let's see, what time is it? It's about midnight. I'm going to take a 10-minute break or so, 15-minute break, and then I'm going to fire up again around about 1:45. I'm going to put spin tyres on, and I'm going to try and get that platinum trophy by doing Deluge on hardcore. Thank you for tuning in and watching some more Train Sim World, running the Class 43 here on the Great Western Pack. We've kind of covered all the Great Western stuff in a bit more detail with these last few streams. So next stream before the that we do on this before the DLC comes out will probably be on the American pack, possibly the German pack. I'm not sure yet, but probably the American pack. We'll look at probably the NEC Amtrak service. Run a couple of scenarios, maybe run a service or two. And as I say, I'll be back online again in around about 15 minutes or so once I've had a quick break with some spin tyres as I go chasing after the last trophy I need to get the platinum. And so thanks for watching, and I will see you all again very soon.